I met Larry when we both entered the summer juried show, and we were both chosen for this exhibit together. So I hadn't known him before that, but I got to know his work a little bit during that show, and again, I'll see more of it here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see different interpretations of the same subject in terms of light and photographic quality.
I thought the work looked really good next to each other, and I was, pretty excited to see what he was going to hang today. I love that he's also a color photographer, so we have that in common, and I'm just excited to see what he's got. But it's inspiring to see other people's work.
The work I'm hanging today is a selection of images of women in their workplace. They're all candid images. I don't do documentary or photojournalist type thing. I just wander around in the streets and find things that interest me. I'm really interested in light, the effects of light on people, on buildings, on the colors, and that's the first thing that attracts me to a scene, is the kind of light quality. My background in creative arts is in painting, so my photographs tend to be more painterly than photographic. And it's something that I look for when I'm out about looking at possible scenes. At some point, in looking over my images, I discovered that I had a lot of images of women at work. So I started putting those in a collection. And out of that collection, I selected the 18 pictures that you have here for the quality, the mood, and the light quality that is involved. For instance, there are no pictures here in this show that are shot out in broad daylight. They all have a more quiet light and color palette. To be able to see things that are so common, so ordinary, that we walk past them every day and don't notice. And if you take the time to really see things, you see different things and you see the extraordinary beauty of the world that we live in. My work it always involves light and color. People really respond to color in lots of ways, And the show that I had here previously did a lot of that. And there is at least one piece from that show and this show. I was at a party on the 4th of July, and I was upstairs in these people's house, and we were having a potluck, and I'm standing there looking out the window, and I see this thing happening with the woman and the wagon gathering up her children's toys. In that particular light at 8 p.m. when the sun is low and casts those long shadows, I had my camera in my hand, I did one click, and that was it. You can't imagine how many times I have just missed it because my camera wasn't turned on, and by the time I turned it on, the light had changed. Sometimes you have to go right now and hope you got it.
All of the work in this project is from a series called Scavenger, Adventures in Treasure Hunting. It's a project that I've worked on for about 5 years, and it feels almost done. It's one of those things where I never quite know, like, when is it finished? I'm not really showing you who he is completely as you would in a documentary, showing him like in his day-to-day life. Instead, I'm really focusing on the treasure hunting and the way that all of the different stories that I've read as a child and he's read, and hopefully everyone has read about treasure hunting, kind of makes the project into more of a narrative, and he becomes a character. He has been out treasure hunting for his whole life, really. He started it as a child. So I am following him to all the different places he goes to look for treasure, and also taking pictures of the objects themselves that he's collecting. He has a collection of silver and precious metals and gold, and those are things that he's always looking for with his metal detector. And it's a huge range of items that are worth real money, but at the same time he ends up in old dumps, and what he finds are objects that have more of a historical value or mythological value, poetic value, these old toys or old dishes and old bottles that kind of tie back into this world, I think, of fiction. In this project particularly, I really thought about photography and what it is that I like about it and what it is that I want to do with it, and I really ended up deciding that I love the way that photography is really close to reality, because it's, for the first time when it was invented, it was sort of this amazing magical experience where you could see something that looked real. But at the same time, I think it has a close connection with fiction as well, because though it looks real, you're not really getting the whole story, and a lot of the time you're getting the opinion of the photographer. If I had to describe my photography, I would say it is narrative portraiture. So you're really kind of seeing a body of work that I want to weave together a story, and at the same time I don't want to give you the whole story, because I think every person brings their own memories and their own thoughts to a photograph that they see. So in this series, you know, I want people to come see it. They might remember a different story that they read as a child, or kind of see Riley in his different outfits that he wears, and have it be reminiscent of something else for them. So I like, you know, how photography works in that way, and that every person that comes to see the work kind of brings their own thoughts and memories to it. You know, there are a lot of images of trash and dumps, and, you know, it's like this beach strewn with bottles and broken glass. So people, I think, can see that in a negative environmental way, of course, which I recognize, but at the same time, I look at that and Riley looks at it and it's like a treasure trove. You know, it's like, look at all this amazing history. And so there's oftentimes kind of difference of opinion there. You know, I don't want to hit people over the head with an idea. I want it to be more subtle, and I want it to be layered. You know, I want there to be sort of more involvement from the viewers. As an artist, you make something and then you put it out there in the world, and you really have kind of no control over how people will react to it. But a lot of the time, I hear people look at the work and they feel that Riley is sad, very sad, which is something that I don't get in the work. You know, for me, there's definitely a sort of, he's not smiling in any of the photos, and some people kind of react to that differently, and they can't, I don't know, they get stuck on that. But I don't see it as sad at all. I think the portraits of him are, there's a distance in them that you might not expect from someone, me as his girlfriend, because I know him, of course, very well. We've been together for 10 years, but I'm not trying to show that side of him. You know, I'm trying to have him be more of a kind of everyman, the adventurer.
The exhibit is free and runs from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Centennial Center Gallery is located at 400 West Gow Street, next to Kent City Hall. Sponsored by Kent Arts Commission.